Hello, welcome back to RushEDu, where I'm going to discuss some games in the classroom. The two games I have next to me is from the Evolution series from Northstar Games. First off, Evolution. Evolution is the original game. You have a variety of species and you have to manage their food. You have to manage the population size. And you have to manage their traits. Some organisms can be climbers, some can be carnivores. Some can have horns, some can be defensive, and organisms can work together in symbiosis. This is an excellent game, plenty of strategy, but it doesn't, for me, work in the classroom. It's almost too complicated and a little bit too big. For the family, sitting around the table, it's a great game. Since then, Northstar put out another game called Evolution. The beginning. This one here I find fits a lot better in the classroom. It's simplified. When we played the other day, it finished in about 20-25 minutes, so perfect for a classroom. In Evolution, the beginning, you have these player aids that will outline every card in the set. Eating traits, there are two. Long necks allow you to get extra food. Scavenger cards allow you to get extra food whenever carnivore attacks. Population traits, such as fat tissue, being able to gain extra food, or fertile, being able to increase your population quickly. Defensive traits, there are 5. Speed, burrowing, flight, nocturnal, and defensive horns. And there is one carnivore trait here. Any species can have up to 3 of those traits. So for example, you could have a carnivore that is both nocturnal and has flight. Everything that's not a carnivore is an herbivore. You can have a herbivore with defensive horns, flight, and fertile. You can have a carnivore that has speed and fat tissue. Any combination here will work on a species. Or other items in the game is the watering hole, the plant tokens, which these are your food tokens. This is what is scored for points, and your food bag. So every time your species eats, that food is placed in the food bag. One of the neat things about Evolution games is these food bags are all well made, and each one has a different species listed on it. Now, these don't mean anything in particular. They're just really, really cool. The first thing a player would do on their turn is gather. There's 2 food at the watering hole. You take one of these cards and you place it face down here in front of you. This is a new species. You always get a new species at the beginning of every turn. And then you draw 3 cards from the draw pile. These go into your hand. Now, I could choose to increase the population of my species. I could choose to make another species. I could choose to apply these traits to a species. Each species may have only 3 traits. So, species number 1 here is a carnivore and has burrowing. Species number 2 has no distinguishable traits at the time. I'll just keep this second card in my hand because I can save that for later. Later on, I may decide that this species is not burrowing any longer, and I can discard this card to add in a new trait. The next stage is to eat. Every non-carnivore must eat from the watering hole. My organism, my species, has obtained 1 food. This little token in the top right corner indicates where food would be placed. At the end of my turn, this 1 food gets placed into the food bag and scores as a point at the end of the game. Play continues with player 1 here having 2 species. This species has the flight trait. This species has burrowing and a carnivore.
This species for player 2 has defensive horns. This species for player 2 has burrowing and fertile. A carnivore needs flight to attack this species. This is a carnivore. This species cannot eat from the watering hole and must attack other species. This species is also a burrower. Player 2 has a species with defensive horns. So before it can be used for food, the attacking carnivore must lose one population. Second population is a burrower, and it's fertile. It gains one population before you draw cards. So let's say it's player 2's turn here. There's one food left over in the watering hole. But as you build traits, the food here will begin to increase. Evolution, the beginning, encourages organisms to adapt to be carnivores, to have a wider variety of food choices. So let's say it's player number 2's turn. First thing they do is add 2 food to the watering hole. They gain a new species. The player will draw 3 cards from the draw pile. And because this is fertile, it'll also gain in population. To increase in population, you stack your cards like so. Now, to maintain this population, this species needs 2 food. At the moment, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 population they must support. If they do not get enough food, a species will go extinct. Our new organism here will have 2 traits, both the carnivore and the speed trait. I will take this one here and add the scavenger trait to the organism with defensive horns. Now it's time to feed. You take, for all of your herbivores, you take 1 token from the watering hole and place it on each of the species cards. This organism here at the bottom is a carnivore. It does not eat from the watering hole. It has to feed on another organism. Player 1 over here has a carnivore that's burrowing. So in order for me to attack this one, I need to have burrowing. In order to attack this one with flight, I need to have flight. I didn't look ahead very well, did I? This guy here has no one he can eat. So this new species, that's a carnivore with speed, has no viable food options and goes extinct. These cards are discarded. The first player will place 2 food tokens in the watering hole, obtain a new species, and then draw 3 cards. Carnivore must be nocturnal in order to attack this species. I'll place it on my new species here. I will give it flight as well. In order for a carnivore to attack this species, it must have both flight and be nocturnal. My extra card here, instead of keeping it in my hand, I'm going to increase the population of this species here. Now it's time to feed. The herbivores will take the food from the watering hole. There was only 1 food available for my 2 population. So my population decreases in size, and this card is discarded into the discard pile. This organism is a carnivore. He does not feed from the watering hole. Instead, he must feed from another organism. Over here, he will attack this one here, which is the fertile population that has burrowing. When I feed on him, it reduces their population by 1. This card is discarded. This card, being the scavenger, gets a food whenever a carnivore attacks. Player 2 will grab a food token from the excess pile. The carnivore will take a food from the excess food pile in order to satisfy its population feeding needs. When that round is over, the player would collect all food tokens and place them into the feed bag. Play continues until the draw pile has been extinguished. All the cards have been drawn in the pile. The discard pile will be reshuffled, placed back out, and any remaining players who had not completed their final turn may continue to draw from this pile. Once everyone has had an equal number of turns, the game is over. Players will receive 1 point for every food token placed inside their bag, every population, every trait, and every card remaining in their hands. Whoever has the most points at the end wins.
Okay, so yes, this is the one water hole here. All of us have species that must feed at the water hole. Some of us will be herbivores, some of us will be carnivores. The species that are best at gaining food survive, and those that are not good at getting food
die
and go extinct. And that's the game of evolution. Okay?
So it's basically
here's
just
the
like,
draw pile.
It's basically just Animal Simulator.
It is animal simulator, yes.
No, like those. I'm like it's basically an Animal Simulator.
Yes, it
Like
is.
eat, survive, don't die.
Eat, survive, don't die.
Am I a carnivore? It's
Well,
like
you don't have anything yet.
everyone in a nutshell.
Okay, so I'm going to start. I'll take the first turn. Okay?
Okay.
So if we look on our player aid, the first thing it says to do is
Add 2 food.
add 2 food. And then I'm going to get
Might
a
need
new species and just set this down in front of me.
You can't do this.
Okay?
You might need to zoom in on that.
Okay.
Dad.
Well, hold on. It's not still my turn.
Ah.
And then I draw 3 cards. Now the 3 cards, I can do this. I can place it down and make a new species.
Ooh.
I can stack it on top of the other one
What will that
to
do?
increase my species. I have more population now.
Oh, I
Okay?
thought it was make a hybrid.
Or I'll do this and place it face up, and now they have a trait. So this species has the long neck trait. The long neck trait, kind of like a giraffe. Okay? And
I'm laughing right now.
it's burrowing, and it has fat tissue,
Yay.
so it gets to eat 2 food for every 1 population. So it gets extra food.
So
Okay.
I'm
That's
out.
And then finally, this species here is also going to burrow. So I have a fatty, long-necked, burrowing animal. Okay?
That doesn't make any sense. How can a fish burrow?
Hey, evolution is weird. Now,
I gotta use
fish
one.
burrow. It's not a fish.
What?
Anyways,
It's a fish.
that's not a fish.
That's a fish.
That's
It's like a
rat.
cat-looking dude
No,
That's a
in the
fish.
picture.
What? It looks like Nemo.
it looks like a ferret.
No, it's just colored black and red. Anyways,
It's
okay?
Imagine
So the
that.
long neck trait, says before gathering food, gain 3 food from the excess pile. So
Yeah.
the long neck, I do not take food from the watering hole because I can reach food that no other organisms can get.
Unless it's their long.
So I can get 3 food, but I only have a population of 1, so you can only eat what you have for a population. So even though it says gain 3 food, I don't take all 3. I can only take the 1. But now that since I have fat tissue says every population can eat 2. I have 2 food tokens from the excess pile that I place on my card. My turn is done. I'll remove these 2 from the card and place it into my feed bag. My turn's over. Wesley, add 2 food to the watering hole. Get 1 new species.
Yay.
Okay?
I got an
So it stays like that.
I got an alligator.
No, everybody's look like that.
Wait, what? Everyone looks
Everybody has all these cards. The back of them look the same. The back of the card represents the species, but if you flip it over, you'll see the traits. Now, Wes, you can play any of those traits from your hand to increase the species, make a new species, or play those cards face up in order to put traits on your organisms.
Wait, how do I make new species?
Just set it down right here next to it.
Just slap it right next to it. I got all of them are the same.
Okay, there's only a handful of cards, as you see from the player aid here. So these cards will repeat.
I have 2 speed cards and 1 flight card. I think I'll use these 2 cards as a trait and increase my species.
Okay? So that's the adapt phase.
Wait, that's a different animal from that.
Doesn't matter. That's just different pictures.
Are those actually? I don't know.
Okay? Now, your next step, if you look on your player 8, says it's time to feed. You have a population of 2. So how many food do you get from the watering hole?
2.
2. And you put 1 on each of those little plant symbols on the card.
Yay.
Your turn is now over. You remove the food from your card and you place it in your feed bag. And you've just scored 2 points. Alright, Waylon, it's your turn. I'll scoot this over here so you have room to play. So what's it say to do on your player board?
Add 2 food. Is 2 random?
Yep, any 2, doesn't matter. Now it says gain 1 new species
Yay!
and then draw 3 cards.
Yay, my bad.
So these are species. I'm gonna add carnivore.
Carnivore. We have our first carnivore. And that's what I like about Evolution the beginning as opposed to Evolution, the base game, is this one here, you seem like it encourages you to become a carnivore pretty early on.
What's this?
Nocturnal. So
Let's get my chair over.
what is nocturnal?
No, I have no idea.
You don't know what nocturnal is?
No.
Nocturnal are animals that live at, and not live, but nocturnal are animals that are active during
Night.
the nighttime. Very good.
Like bats.
Like bats. So you have a nocturnal carnivore. Now this other card here, it's also a carnivore card, right? So you can do one of 2 things. You can increase your population,
Yeah.
you can start a new species, or you can hold on to it, and next turn you'll have that carnivore to eat us
Wait.
again.
Question.
Yes.
So, okay, so if we want a new animal, do we like just place the card face down like that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. These still look different, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. That's
So
just the
they're
card
just
art.
the same animal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold on to it.
You want to hold on to it. Okay. All right, so now it's time for you to feed.
Mommy.
Okay? You do not know. You're a carnivore. You don't eat out of the watering hole. You have to eat somebody. Okay? So who are you going to eat, me or Wes? Okay, you're going to eat Wes. Now look over here.
I hate you.
No, read it, Wes.
A carnivore needs speed to attack this species. A carnivore needs flight
Carnivore.
A carnivore needs flight to attack this species.
So do you have flight?
Dang it.
Do you have flight?
No.
So you can't attack Wes. So do you
Maybe.
attack me? Okay. But I have burrowing, and burrowing says a carnivore needs burrowing to attack the species. Do you have burrowing?
No, I do not.
So does your nocturnal carnivore get any food?
It dies.
He dies. He went extinct.
That was fast.
He went extinct.
This is what happens if when I were to watch over an entire species, they would all die in one day.
All right.
I'm
Okay.
calling it.
So here it is, starting to my turn again. First thing I do is place 2 food. We're already up to 6 food at the watering hole. I take 1 new species, place it here, next to my other species. Draw 3 cards. And this one here I will give speed. I will make it fertile. And I will increase the population of this here, because if a carnivore can't eat this, the whole thing goes extinct. So I must build up its population to protect it from carnivores. Now, my long neck says before I gather food from the watering hole, long necks can take up to 3 food from the excess food pile. I also have fat tissue, so 2 food go here, 1 food goes here. Now, feeding, I go to the water hole. I can take a second food because of fat tissue. And then my second population over here, the fertile population that has speed, they get 1. Now my turn is done. I collect all of my tokens
What is wrong with this horse?
and place it into the food bag.
Like, can you show off this horse real quickly? What is wrong with it?
It's not a horse, it's kind of like an antelope or a wildebeest.
That
And
no,
it's-
I mean the fact that it's positioned like that.
whenever they're fighting against carnivores,
They do that?
they'll jump and kick. So it's probably getting ready to kick.
It looks really silly. Just show it off. It looks so silly. Oh my goodness. Wait, do these symbols mean anything?
That's where the food goes.
No, like, does it like mean anything important, or can I put like, I mean, the pictures of is like flowers. So can I feed it like berries?
Yes, that doesn't matter.
Oh, thank God, that works.
And that's what Wes is referring to. What Wes is referring to is the food tokens have different symbols, and that's just artwork.
Yeah. Oh yeah, carnivore. He has to eat that.
So he has to eat one of my population here. So you have burrowing. I have burrowing. So you can attack this population.
Yep.
So I have a population of 2, you have a population of 1. So you only get to eat one of my guys. Okay? So my population will decrease by 1. I'll discard that. And you take 1 food from the food pile, the excess food pile, and places it on your card. Your turn's over. So take the 2 food tokens and place them in your feed bag.
I feel like carnivores are like one of the most risky things you could be, cause like if you have like 20 carnivores and everyone else has like 2, you're done.
Mm-hmm. But you're not fighting over. If you're a carnivore, you're not fighting over food here.
You're fighting for the other people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not really for them, just to eat them mainly.
7 food tokens into my feed bag. Now, the amount of food at the water hole is down to 2. There's only 2 food in that water hole right now. So, herbivores are going to have to start fighting over this food, get better at getting food, or go extinct. So, Wesley, your turn. What's the first thing you do? Okay.
I have a question.
It's my turn, and the game's almost over since there's only 2 cards left.
So,
I'm gonna
one's a
put-
new species.
The other one is a long neck.
Now, here's what we do at the end. In order to make sure that everyone has an equal number of cards, we'll shuffle up the discard pile,
And I get 2 more.
and you'll get 2 more. So that way, everybody has an equal number of complete turns. Since I started the game's over. Had Wesley drawn the last card, Waylon wouldn't have been able to continue his turn before the game was over. All right, so go ahead.
I got the speed and fat tissue, but I don't get the carnivore, so I can.
Can
get
I make a
Wesley.
suggestion?
Yes.
You have long neck. Long neck gets 3 food. Fat tissue allows him to eat extra. Instead of going speed, and you're the very last guy, increase his population.
For extra points.
Okay, for extra points. All right. So now, long neck says this guy gets food. Long neck says this guy gets food.
Long
2
neck,
there,
long
1
neck
there.
says this guy's gonna eat some people.
And now you take 1 food from the watering hole, and now your carnivore
It's
gets to eat.
gonna feed
You can attack this guy,
But I'm
but
gonna
have
lose
defensive horns, and you'll lose 1 population, which makes you go extinct. The only one it looks like, nope,
No, that one. No, flight.
he has flight. You can't attack this
I wanted
one.
to add a different population for this.
You can
I can.
You can attack this guy,
Nami. I'm gonna go Nami. I'm
Okay.
gonna Daddy's.
and this guy goes extinct. So fat tissue and long neck gave this guy
2.
3 food,
See.
right? And this card gets 2 food. This card gets a food, and you took 1 food from the watering hole. This guy had long neck, but you only had a population of 1, so he only gets 1 food. The carnivore ate my guy and got food. Now, since a carnivore ate Wes,
Gavin.
he gets a scavenge, and I get a scavenge. Is your turn done?
I got it. Okay.
So collect them and put them in your feed bag.
And then we're done.
Game's over. My 1 token will go in my feed bag. Now, boys,
Wait, I How many points are the tokens?
Here's how it counts. You get 1 point for every card that's out here and 1 point for every food token you have. So let's add them up and see what we get.
$47.
40. Do you have any cards in your hand?
No.
Okay, so 47. You have.
I don't
Okay, you have 47. Waylon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 45, 36, 37, 38, 39. Alright, so 39, 47,
Wow. And dun, dun, dun.
If you
48.
I'm done. No.
Okay,
Wait, one.
by 1.
And a half.
Alright,
And a half.
No.
so
I got 5.
the game Evolution, the beginning in science class.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easy enough to learn. Did you guys feel as easy to learn?
Yep.
Was it fun?
Yep. I think you
Okay.
could learn by just based on the things you could be.
Yeah, so
But-
you learn that animals have different traits.
I did not know that this was even a thing. I didn't know it was a word. The
Nocturnal?
nocturnal, yeah.
Yeah. So we understand that animals, there's a competition between predator and prey and who gets to get the food, who gets eaten and who doesn't get eaten. And we see there's competition at the watering hole for the herbivores that are trying to get the food from the watering hole. So things like having a long neck allows you to get extra food. And then different defensive strategies, such as defensive horns, keeps predators away. Or things like fertile allow species to increase in population that, yeah, some of them's going to get eaten, but you're always going to have enough population alive.
Yeah, trace.
Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a word for being nocturnal?
But dayturnal,
Dayturnal.
it's called diurnal.
Diurnal.
Another benefit of this game that I never considered is the discussion of terms and what they mean. So, what do you guys think?
I love it.
Good.
I still can't believe I got beaten by 1.
It's got 2 G, boys.
That's the letter G.
And FOURCE.
So
Okay.
clever.
And Panda Oblivion, where I do gaming videos and board game videos. And stay curious.
Stay curious, folks.
No.
Banging off your head.
No.
Yep.
Right. Stay curious, friends.
Stay curious, nerds.
That's right.
Dad has messy hair.